Climate change stresses already complex ecosystems. In this video, we'll cover the greenhouse effect and human impacts, positive feedback loops that accelerate warming, boreal forest tipping points turning forests into carbon sources, polar ice melt affecting species and habitats, ocean currents disrupting nutrient cycles, species range shifts due to rising temperatures, coral reef collapse from acidification and bleaching, and carbon sequestration through forests and wetlands. These are some of the key concepts covered in the IB biology syllabus. The greenhouse effect is a natural process that warms the Earth's surface, enabling life to thrive. It occurs when solar radiation, both UV and visible light, pass through the Earth's atmosphere and is absorbed by the planet's surface, warming it. In turn, the Earth emits this absorbed energy as infrared, or IR, heat radiation, which has longer wavelengths than the incoming solar radiation. However, certain gases in the atmosphere, known as greenhouse gases, absorb and re-radiate some of the infrared radiation. Examples of common greenhouse gases are carbon dioxide, CO2, methane, CH4, water vapor, H2O, as well as the nitrous oxide, N2O. These gases act like the glass of a greenhouse, trapping heat within the atmosphere and preventing it from escaping back into space. This process leads to the warming of the lower atmosphere and the Earth's surface. Greenhouse gases do not significantly absorb visible light or UV radiation, allowing most of the sun's energy to pass through. However, their ability to absorb infrared radiation and re-emit it in all directions, including back towards Earth's surface, creates a thermal blanket effect. This process is critical for maintaining temperatures that support life. But an excess of greenhouse gases, such as through human activities like burning fossil fuels, can intensify the effect, leading to global warming and climate change. The primary anthropogenic or human-caused factors driving climate change are the increases in atmospheric concentrations of carbon dioxide and methane. Human activities that increase the concentration of these greenhouse gases in the atmosphere include burning fossil fuels, deforestation, and agriculture, which significantly raise levels of these greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Burning of fossil fuels releases the carbon stored in hydrocarbons, as they combust with oxygen to form CO2. Deforestation removes plants that absorb carbon dioxide through photosynthesis, while agriculture releases methane from methanogenic bacteria that live in oxygen-poor environments like the digestive systems of livestock, as well as waterlogged soils and fields. Both carbon dioxide and methane are potent greenhouse gases that trap heat, contributing to the warming of Earth's climate. Data from Antarctic ice cores reveals a positive correlation between global temperatures and the concentration of carbon dioxide over hundreds of thousands of years. Ice cores are taken from areas where snow does not melt and accumulates year after year along with trapped atmospheric gas. This provides compelling evidence for the correlation between carbon dioxide concentrations in the atmosphere and global temperatures. Boreal forests, also known as taiga, serve as an example of a climate change tipping point, where ecosystems undergo a fundamental and irreversible change from one form to another. In the cold temperatures of the boreal forests, cellular respiration is slowed. Decomposers are therefore working at a slow rate to decompose the dead biomass of litter of leaves and logs. Historically, the rate of accumulation of biomass in the boreal forest is higher than the rate of decomposition, leading to a large reservoir of undecomposed biomass, which stores large amounts of carbon. Currently, rising temperatures and decreased winter snowfall are leading to more frequent droughts. Warmer conditions stress trees, particularly conifers, leading to forest browning and reduced carbon sequestration. As these forests dry out, they become more susceptible to fires, which release the decades or centuries of accumulated biomass, resulting in large amounts of carbon dioxide being released. This shift from carbon accumulation to carbon release exacerbates climate change, as these forests, which once acted as carbon sinks, become sources of carbon emissions. Such tipping points represent a crucial change in the balance of carbon within the Earth's ecosystems. Melting landfast ice and sea ice are significant examples of habitat change in polar regions due to climate change. Landfast ice is ice that does not free float in the ocean. Rather, it's frozen to the shore, which can extend terrestrial animal habitats. Landfasted ice in the Antarctic provides essential breeding grounds for species like the emperor penguin or Aptenodytis forstri. As temperatures rise, this ice breaks up earlier in the season, disrupting the penguin's breeding cycle and reducing their ability to raise chicks. In the Arctic, the loss of sea ice threatens species like walruses, which rely on sea ice for resting and breeding. As the ice melts and retreats, these animals face increased predation risks, difficulty in accessing food, and loss of habitat. The impacts of ice loss extends beyond the species directly affected, as they disrupt the entire polar food web. Ocean waters form distinct layers due to variations in temperature and salinity. It is a phenomenon known as ocean stratification. Warmer, low salinity, and less dense water stays on the surface, while colder, saltier, and denser water sinks to the bottom. These layers are mixed in a process known as upwelling, caused by winds, tides, and currents, which are crucial for the ocean ecosystem. Upwelling allows the exchange of heat, oxygen, and nutrients, supporting life at different depths. The sunlit zone supports phytoplankton photosynthesis. The primary productivity of the phytoplankton, which is the rate of new biomass production by producers, supports the entire ocean food web. However, phytoplankton rely on nutrients released by decomposers in deeper layers where organic matter sinks and decomposes. Ocean mixing and upwelling transport these nutrients back to the surface, enabling greater phytoplankton primary productivity that produces organic compounds essential for the marine food web. When the density differences between layers increase, it leads to greater ocean stability, which decreases upwelling. Global warming exacerbates this by melting ice, reducing surface salinity in the top layer while warming surface waters, which further decreases mixing. This stability disrupts nutrient upwelling, particularly in regions where phytoplankton growth depends on it. Climate change significantly impacts ocean currents and circulation, altering the timing and extent of nutrient upwelling. Warmer surface water blocks nutrient-rich deeper water from rising, reducing primary production in areas like upwelling zones. Since phytoplankton are the foundation of marine food chains, this decline in productivity affects biodiversity, energy availability, and the overall functioning of marine ecosystems. As temperatures rise due to climate change, many species are shifting their ranges towards areas that are within their evolved temperature tolerances. As climate warms, many species have made permanent migrations polewards or towards the poles, or upslope to higher elevations in mountainous regions. As altitude increases, temperatures decrease. As global temperatures warm, species that were in a comfortable temperature range in lower altitudes start to migrate upwards in altitude in order to remain in a comfortable temperature range, as increases in altitude correlate with temperature decreases. Tropical species seem to be impacted the most, as they are more sensitive to temperature changes than more temperate species. For example, in Papua New Guinea, which has an average mean temperature increase of about 0.39 degrees Celsius, is correlated with a mean upslope range shift of 154 meters in several different bird species. Poleward range shifts occur as average temperatures are cooler towards the poles due to lower light intensities than they are in equatorial regions. This is because the curvature of the Earth at the poles has light rays striking at an angle, leading to less light intensity. So in North America, some species of tree populations are gradually shifting northward to cooler climates, while others are contracting their southern range. A similar pattern occurs in the southern hemisphere, where species tend to shift their ranges away from the equator and towards the South Pole in response to warming temperatures. These range shifts provide compelling evidence of climate change and highlight how ecosystems and species are attempting to adapt to changing environmental conditions. However, such shifts may not be possible for all species, particularly if suitable habitats are already occupied or lost to human development. Coral reefs are highly sensitive to both ocean acidification and warming temperatures, making them highly vulnerable to climate change. Increased atmospheric carbon dioxide concentrations result in more CO2 being absorbed by the oceans, leading to ocean acidification. Ocean acidification causes loss of calcium carbonate that impairs the ability of corals to form calcium carbonate skeletons, decreasing coral reef building. When carbon dioxide naturally dissolves in ocean water, it can spontaneously react to form carbonic acid, which dissociates into hydrogen ions and hydrogen carbonate ions. Hydrogen ions react with dissolved carbonate ions, which removes them from the ocean waters, making them unavailable for organisms to absorb to build coral skeletons. In addition, rising sea temperatures cause coral bleaching, where the symbiotic relationship between corals and their algae breaks down. Corals have a mutualistic relationship with the algae zooxanthellae. The algae have a stable habitat that allows them access to sun, where they can photosynthesize, while the coral receives the carbohydrates produced by the algae during photosynthesis. When ocean waters warm, the corals eject the algae, causing the corals to lose their vibrant colors and weaken, also known as coral bleaching. Corals are keystone species, meaning many other organisms rely on corals in the ecosystem. When corals die, entire reef ecosystems can collapse, affecting the diverse species that depend on them for food and shelter. Coral reef degradation is a critical issue, as reefs are among the most biodiverse ecosystems on the planet. Carbon sequestration is a process by which carbon dioxide is removed from the atmosphere and stored in carbon sinks, such as forests, oceans, or geologic formations. This helps to mitigate climate change by reducing the concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Afforestation, which is planting trees in areas that were not previously forested, forest regeneration, and the restoration of peat-forming wetlands are all approaches that help increase the Earth's capacity to store carbon. However, there is ongoing scientific debate over the best methods for carbon sequestration. Some argue that afforestation with non-native species might provide quick carbon storage, while others advocate for rewilding with native species, which may offer more longer-term ecological benefits. Peat-forming wetlands are particularly effective at capturing and storing carbon, as they accumulate organic matter in waterlogged conditions. Waterlogged soils are inhospitable to aerobic decomposers, vastly slowing decomposition. Decomposition releases carbon dioxide through respiration. So, waterlogged soils contain undigested biomass, which stores a large amount of carbon. These natural carbon sinks play a crucial role in mitigating the impacts of climate change. Wetlands are the world's largest carbon sinks, and protecting and restoring them is an important strategy in mitigating climate change. In this video, we explored the anthropogenic causes and far-reaching impacts of climate change, as well as potential mitigation strategies. Some of the key concepts we discussed are greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and methane trap infrared radiation. We also saw that human activities like burning fossil fuels and deforestation drive carbon dioxide and methane increases. We looked at positive feedback cycles and how they exacerbate warming by releasing stored greenhouse gases. We also saw that tipping points such as boreal forest shifts indicate irreversible ecosystem changes. We looked at how polar habitat loss disrupts ecosystems for species like penguins and walruses, as well as how changes in ocean currents and upwelling reduce marine biodiversity and productivity. We also saw how poleward and upslope range shifts challenge species survival and ecological balance. We looked at coral reef threats that highlight the risks to biodiversity and marine ecosystems. Finally, we saw that carbon sequestration through afforestation, forest regeneration, and peatland restoration offers hope for mitigating climate change. These interconnected topics underscore the urgent need for comprehensive efforts to address the challenges posed by climate change.